That day the air felt different. Still, heavy. Trenton Vale stood on his porch, calm, silent, watching. Across the creek, Judith Bramwell stood with her workers, her face full of pride, her voice sharp as a knife. "Go on," she ordered. The first cement truck rumbled forward, its massive tires grinding against the old wooden planks. The bridge moaned under the weight. And then came the sound. Crack! The center split open. The truck's front end plunged nose first into the muddy creek below. Water and dirt exploding in every direction. The driver screamed, trying to climb out. Judith's face turned pale. Her confidence shattered in seconds. Trenton didn't move. He didn't shout. He just smiled softly. By evening, chaos ruled the scene. Police, tow trucks, even news reporters crowded the area. Judith kept insisting it was an accident. But then Trenton presented the proof. The letters, the warning signs, and the secret camera footage showing everything. The truth hit harder than the crash itself. The police confirmed it. The bridge was private property. The HOA had no right to touch it. By the next day, Judith was gone. Fired, humiliated, forgotten. And as the sun set over the creek, Trenton stood beside his broken bridge, the faintest smile on his face. He hadn't shouted. He hadn't fought. He had simply let karma do its job. The golden light of dawn stretched across the quiet town of Willow Creek, a place where everyone knew everyone else, or at least thought they did. At the farthest edge of this town stood an old farmhouse surrounded by oak trees, wild grass, and a narrow creek that shimmered under the morning sun. Across that creek was a small wooden bridge, strong, sturdy, and personal. That bridge belonged to Trenton Vale. Trenton was a quiet man in his late 40s, a skilled craftsman who believed in doing things with his own hands. 15 years ago, when he bought his land, the creek had cut off part of his property. So he built that bridge himself. It wasn't fancy, just carefully carved wooden planks, reinforced with iron bolts, but it had meaning. Every beam, every nail told a story of his patience and pride. For years, no one questioned the bridge. The neighbors respected his space. Kids from nearby houses sometimes came to fish under the bridge, and Trenton didn't mind. He liked peace. He liked people who understood boundaries. Then came Judith Bramwell. Judith had recently been elected president of the Homeowners Association, an organization that managed everything from how tall someone's fence could be to what color their mailbox was painted. She was the kind of woman who smiled in public but always had an agenda behind that smile. Neighbors whispered that she was power-hungry, that she loved control more than community. When Judith first saw Trenton's bridge, she immediately felt irritated. "It shouldn't be there," she said to herself one morning while walking her dog. "That's on community land. Everyone should be allowed to use it." A week later, she sent Trenton a letter with the HOA's official letterhead. It stated that the bridge connecting community, land to private property, will be designated as shared. Access for development purposes. Trenton read the letter twice, then chuckled softly. He went to his workbench, picked up a pen, and wrote one simple line in reply. "This bridge is my property, built entirely on private land. No shared access permitted." He thought that would be the end of it. But Judith wasn't used to being told no. A few days later, early in the morning, Trenton heard a low rumble outside his window. He stepped onto his porch and froze. A massive cement truck, bright yellow with the HOA's logo painted on its side, was rolling across his bridge. The wooden planks creaked and the rails trembled. Trenton shouted, waving his hands. "Stop! That bridge isn't built for heavy trucks!" The driver ignored him. Judith stood nearby, clipboard in hand, pretending not to hear. She looked satisfied, smug even. When the truck finally reached the other side, Trenton noticed long cracks spreading across the wood. Nails had popped loose. The structure that had stood strong for 15 years was now wounded. That night, Trenton sat on the porch, staring at the bridge in silence. His dog, Rusty, lay beside him. He felt a storm building inside him, not just anger, but disbelief. How could someone be so arrogant, so disrespectful? He thought about confronting Judith the next day, maybe even suing her. But then he remembered something his late father used to say, "Never wrestle with a fool in the mud, they'll drag you down to their level." Trenton smiled faintly. He had a better idea. The next morning, he filed an official complaint with the HOA, attaching photos of the cracks and damage. Judith dismissed it at once, sending him an email that read, "Community projects require cooperation. If your structure cannot withstand use, it must be modified or replaced to meet standards." That was the moment Trenton decided it was time for a lesson. For the next week, he worked every night under the moonlight, hammering and sawing quietly. He pretended to be repairing the bridge, but in truth, he was modifying it. The outer sections he rebuilt with strong hardwood and iron bolts, but the middle section, the part that would take the most weight, he replaced with hollow planks, coated to look real and sturdy. They would easily hold the weight of a person, maybe even a small car, but anything heavier would collapse. When he was done, he posted a sign at the entrance. "Private bridge, authorized use only, weight limit 2 tons. 2 days later, Judith showed up again, this time with 2 cement trucks and a group of HOA workers. "Good morning, Mr. Vale," she called out in her overly cheerful voice. "We're bringing in materials for the park expansion project. We'll just be using your bridge again." Trenton stood with his arms folded. "I wouldn't recommend it," he said calmly. "That bridge isn't for your trucks." "Oh, stop being so dramatic," Judith scoffed. "You can't stop progress." The first truck rolled forward. Trenton didn't move, he simply watched. The heavy tires hit the bridge, the planks groaned, and the hollow section began to flex. Then came a loud, sharp crack, and before anyone could react, the center gave way. The front of the truck plunged nose first into the creek below, mud and water exploding in every direction. The driver shouted as the cabin tilted sideways. Judith screamed, "Oh my God! My truck!" Within minutes, chaos erupted. Workers rushed to pull the driver out. The cement mixture began spilling into the creek, hardening as it hit the cold water. Trenton remained silent, his face unreadable. By evening, tow trucks, local police, and even news reporters had arrived. Cameras flashed. Judith tried to explain it was an accident. But Trenton showed the officers his documentation. The letters, the signs, the warnings, and even a small video recording from a hidden motion camera he had installed just 2 nights before. The police confirmed everything. The bridge was private property. The HOA had no right to use it. The next day, Judith received a call from the HOA board demanding her resignation. Her arrogance had cost them thousands in damage and legal trouble. Trenton's insurance covered his repairs, and the HOA was forced to pay for the truck recovery and cleanup. The community began whispering stories about the incident. Some found it hilarious, others said it was justice served. Over the next month, Trenton rebuilt the bridge again. This time, he used steel beams beneath the wood, added motion lights, and installed a gate that locked automatically at night. Above it hung a new sign,